Hello everyone, VegasVic1965, and in this week's video we are looking at the spawner itself. You'll find these in dungeons throughout your world, below the surface, and what Noah and I are going to do is say hi, Noah.
Hi.
What Noah and I are going to do is go over, if you find one, the best way to set yourself up with an experience farm, also all the drops that they have, and it really depends on what is in the spawner. So I'm briefly going to go over as well, if you have a multiplayer server that you play on that you're able to get a spawner, what you can do with it and how you can change it. So without further ado, Noah,
Let's find out.
welcome back everyone, VegasVic1965 along with Noah. We're back in that spawner room, and actually if you're looking at this, this is one that I made. I have one over here that I actually found because I had a few people that asked me about my double spawner, my double skelly spawner that I have, and I thought what I'd do is set it up to where you could either, if you find a double spawner, you could either set it up to where they both pop into the same place, or if you have a single spawner, you can still do the same thing. So looking at this, over on this side, I wanted to point out a few things for you in case you didn't know. I made a little hallway. Each block, colored block, represents 5 block distance from this spawner. Now, 5 blocks away, the spawner, of course, is still active. 10 blocks and up to 15 blocks on this green one, the spawner is still active. Now, if you're looking at it now and I back up 1, whoops, Noah, can you step out of the room?
Yep,
I almost forgot, you're still there.
Yep.
So
I was trying to leave.
let's see. Oh no, you're still in the area.
Oh. Weird. Let me try it. Let me leave.
Okay, it's good. You got it. Everyone can see now on the screen that the spawner is no longer active, and if I move 1 onto that green carpet, you can see that the spawner is once again active. So, if you are within 16, the 16th block, it will not be active, but 15 blocks and closer to this spawner, and it will be active, and whatever's in there will start popping out. This is not affected by the mob cap, in case anybody wanted to know. Now, briefly going over a spawner, if you have one that you get in your world, like a multiplayer server, you can set the spawner down, and its default is a pig. To change that, you place an egg, and let's see if I can get one in here. Any of the eggs, like for example, you wanted to pick, let's pick a I don't know for what reason, a husk spawner, for example. And as you can see inside there, you might be able to see in there, it is a skeleton, swimming or spinning around in there. If I took this egg, let me get mine back up again. If I took the egg and I right-click on the spawner, it will change into a husk spawner. So if you have one on the multiplayer server, they allow you to do that. Whatever egg you would like to set up, be it cow, mushroom, skeleton, zombie, you go right ahead and right click on that, and that's what it will be. And you can change it again if, again, the multiplayer server allows you to silk touch these or get these in some way or another and then place them down. So you just right click on that spawner with the egg and you will get it, and I'll show you in just a moment. I might as well. There, now if you can see inside there, it is now a husk. But what we want to do the skeleton. So let's go back to that one.
I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Noah's got it. He's going to fix it up. All set? Yes, he did.
I put it right. I got the skeleton spawner ready.
Awesome. All right, now, when you do find yourself a dungeon, of course, you're going to loot all the chests. There's all kinds of things that could be in here, from books, food, iron, sometimes gold, sometimes armor, horse armor, name tags, a lot of different things you find, even golden apples, and loot all that stuff out. And when you're ready to build your spawner or your experience room, that's what we're here to show you. So Noah and I are going to do is dig this out, and then I'll explain the distances. We're going to go 4 this way, 4 that way, 4 that way, 4 this way, up and also down. So when we have this dug out, we'll be right back to show you. Okay, we are back now, and if you notice, we dug this room out. I guess I should have mentioned earlier, I'm probably going to list a little probably something in the description or just above while I'm making the video. that while you're doing this, you want to make sure that it's very well lit up. If you don't have it lit up, of course, you're going to get spawns. That's why earlier you saw that we had torches all around the spawner on all the sides, except, of course, the bottom. So while you're digging it out, you want to make sure you also set up torches so you don't get spawns and get interrupted while you're busy working. So looking at this build, you'll see I have 4 spaces above it cleared out, 4 spaces to the left, actually just 4 spaces in all directions. And down below, if you look at it now, you'll see that we have, you would think 8, right? But it's actually 9 because of the spawner in the middle. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And on the 9th one, depending on which corner we want to pick, I'm sorry, which side we want to pick, is where we're going to have our water streams dump into. And from there, they will then dump, for example, if they're dumping this way, they'll dump into this water stream and then they'll flow on this direction or whatever direction we have the other spawner. Now, if you only have a single spawner, it's no big deal. Have it whatever direction is more convenient to you. We're going to build this to where they go up by using a soul sand block, and we'll have them drop down 20 blocks, so they only have about a heart, heart and a half. Now, they're always not going to be the same because sometimes, depending on your whether it's easy, normal, or difficult, those levels will determine whether or not these guys are going to come equipped with armor. So usually at the most they'll have about a heart, heart and a half, but usually they'll end up with about a half a heart. So you can actually hit it with your hand and you'll kill them. But what we're mainly going to be doing this for is an experience farm and also a mending video that I did a while ago to repair your tools. So we're going to take a look and see which side we want to start digging towards, since we have a double skelly spawner. And what I will do is I will come right back as soon as we have figured out what direction we want to go. We'll start digging that way and show you a block by block tutorial so you can get it done. Be right back. Okay, welcome back. What we have done is Noah and I have tried to figure out how we can link these two up. And what I've done from one side, the other spawners in that direction, and I'm going to have the water flow go from these 8 blocks, and of course water does travel 8 blocks. I'll have it flow this way into this area here in a water stream. Now this is obviously longer than 8 blocks, which is no big deal, but our main purpose is to get the same height. So if you've got a double spawner, you want to get the same height. If you're a little bit off, that's fine, as long as your water streams go into the same hole, and that's what we're going to show you. So I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I could probably start going down from here, no big deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we are going to need some signs on here, and I'm going to put in this spot a soul sand block. So let me get some signs out. Here we go. I like to use the birch signs, they're brighter. And then we need soul sand. And we'll probably wait to do that. We are definitely going to need some water. Now, something I want to mention here: when you're making your water source, when you're placing your water, you want to definitely make sure that there is a water source block on every single block on the way up. If not, then when you place your soul sand finally in that spot to shoot them all up there, it will not work. So every single block has to be a water source block. So let's set our signs up here. And I've gone up 3. Now normally what I like to do in this spot right here, and also this spot right here, if you can get a hold of some packed ice, this is what I find is a lot easier because they'll slide right off in to the water stream. So we'll get ourselves some packed ice. Also like to use stairs. What type of stair, it really doesn't matter. And I will put a stair, whoops, wrong way, try it again. I think I had it right the first time. There we go. Still didn't get it right. Okay, so this block here we're going to replace with the packed ice. So when they get pushed along here, they'll slide right off into the soul sand block. So now what we're going to do, since we've gone up, we figured it's 41 is what we're looking at. So if I pull this up, by pressing F3, you'll see we are now at 41. This side, Noah's side initially, is going, when the water flow comes up, we'll put one more source block here, then we'll push them this way. The water source will keep going, and then right here, we're going to pop a sign there. The water will stop and will not go any further. On the other side, where the other spawner is located at, I have them coming out this way and going in the same direction towards each other down this tube here. Now I'll set this one up as well. So that's where our soul sand block is going to be. So we'll put a sign here, 3 signs, give them plenty of room. Put our stair up there. This way when they get pushed off and they start going up, they'll hit that other stair and go forward. Then of course we want to put our packed ice right there. And he'll slide. As soon as the other ones bump into him, he'll slide. Every now and then, occasionally, one will get stuck here. But have no fear, when more get spawned and they come down the water stream into this, they will eventually get pushed off. And here's something I forgot to do on this side. Let's count this off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need somewhere in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll drop it off at 6. So I'll need to, of course, replace this. Put that in there. Put our sign in this bottom one. Glad I saw that mistake. And put our stair back. There we go. So the water will now flow past this. As we said, it flows 8 blocks. So when you put a water source here, it will flow over the 6 and will continue as if we're starting brand new, and we'll try to flow another 8. But we have signs here that will stop that water. So when the skeletons, zombies, whatever spawner you have, eventually get on this, they'll slide forward and hopefully go right into our soul sand block, which we're going to set up here. But you want to set that up afterwards, because if you're trying to set your water source blocks in each and every one, it'll be extremely difficult because you're going to be getting pushed a lot. So again, we're going to get our water out and we're going to start placing our water source all the way up. And you'll see with those signs, that'll keep that from coming out. But you, of course, fall on there, and eventually when you get bumped, you're going to get pushed. The soul sand will then push you up. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up by putting water source blocks all the way up to 41, and I'll see you back in a second. Okay, we are back. Now, if you notice again, we are at 41. That's our Y level. If you look at your XYZ coordinates, that's our Y level of 41. Now, Noah's spawner's in that direction. My spawner's in this direction. Noah, why don't you go ahead and place a water source block at the end of yours, and we'll watch it flow right down to here. I'm going to remove that block. Go ahead.
Okay.
You place a water source at your end, buddy.
Oh, my end?
Yeah, at your end.
Okay.
Place it. Oh, no. Okay, I'll do it. It's okay, buddy. I think maybe you're a little confused.
What you're saying.
Here, I'll show you. All right, so this is what we're going to do. On my end, I'm going to place a water source block right there above that water right there. You'll see what will happen is it'll come around and flow right into here and will stop at that sign. Noah, of course, is going to do his the same way on his end. And let's see what happens. And again, his pushes here too. So you see both spawners are being pushed into the same spot. Now what we need to do is figure out, we're at 40 right now, but where Noah's standing and where they are standing, or we're going to be following, will be 41. So we want them to drop 20 blocks. So if we're going down 20 blocks, where's our hopper need to be for them to land on? 41, right? Mm-hmm. Or 21. Mm-hmm. So, Noah, why don't you go ahead and dig down to 21, and I'm going to go ahead and set the soul sand blocks in there. We'll show them how it works. Go right ahead.
Okay.
He's going to dig down to 21. Now, sometimes what I like to do here is try to set up like a viewing area, and you may have seen that on my double spawner if you saw my mending video. And what I probably will do is I'll spruce it up a little bit, and you can too later once this is done. Just got to remember, don't break those blocks that have the water source blocks, or you could mess up the whole thing. So if we set down our soul sand, you're going to see some bubbles start to appear. And if we did it right and we put a water source block on every single block going up, let's find out right now. If we go in, we should get pushed up. There it is. And you'll see we'll start to flow in this direction. And then we'll drop all the way down. What I'm going to do is come over here and get the other one done for Noah's side. And since I don't have Depth Strider on, this is not too easy.
I can get you one.
It's okay. We're almost done here.
Oh, I already have
All right, so we got that one. Let's make sure we're going to test it out before we get this thing started. You definitely want to test it, because if it doesn't shoot you all the way up there, then you know you missed a water source block somewhere. Go ahead, Noah. What you got, buddy?
I got it right here.
Where you at? Hit your F3 button. Let's see where you're at.
I'm at 21.
Very good. That's where we're going to put our. We're going to build our kill area.
I thought for a second I was wrong about it, because it digs straight down into another cave, and then went down.
Actually, it worked out kind of. Is that 21 there?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll work on it in just a second. All right, let's test this one out, Noah's side. See if it shoots us all the way up. And it did. Okay, so we're good to go. All right, the next step is going to be to build the kill chamber. Now that we know that's working, we'll build the kill chamber, but we also need to get in there and finish up the water flow. And I'll show you how that works in just a moment, and we'll actually give it a little test. Okay, so we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Noah is now going to go ahead and set the water in. He needs to put water sources all the way across so everything flows nice and even, as you see right over into here. And then, of course, we're going to need a water source block in the back over here, Noah, to make it all go that way.
Put one right here?
You got it. There you go. Now, let's see if this works as intended. We'll find out. So if you drop into here, you should flow down here. Excuse me.
This looks interesting.
Go ahead and stand there. I'll see if I can, or one of us. What I'm looking to do is fall off onto here and get pushed into the water stream. There we go. And as we come down to the end, it should push you up and inside. Sometimes you get stuck, sometimes you don't. But the next one will end up pushing you into it, as you see. The stair kind of got me caught, but the next one will come along and bump me, and I will go in and up the water stream. There goes Noah. Bye, Noah. And they'll fall down 20 blocks to this spot right here. And at this spot right here is where we're going to put our hopper, and we're also going to, I do this on every single one. You don't need to do it for skeletons, but it's a good habit to do it so you don't forget, because zombies, husks, pigmen, they have babies, and oh, I got a friend. And what happens is, if you don't put at least a trapdoor or a slab there, then the babies can actually get out to get to you. So make it a habit. You don't have to with skeletons, but if you do it this way, then each and every time you do one, you'll be prepared regardless of what the spawner is. So I'll be right back after we have started to put in what we need to for our collection system. Okay, so I'm back, and I'm actually in spectator mode to show you a little better view of what's going on here. So we have his water chute going up there, and a water chute going up here, and they're both landing in one spot. Now you see that they're relatively close. They're not always going to be there, but the important thing is bringing them up 20 and then falling down 20, so your kill chamber is right near the spawners to where both of them are active. Earlier in the video I mentioned that there was a certain number of blocks you had to be from a spawner for them to be active, and at the 16th block they're no longer active. So if you want both of them active, like this double spawner, you need to try and get them to meet somewhere in the middle. Just be careful that you don't break, like right here. If we went any further, we'd end up breaking into where we have the water streams. So it'll be a small little room for this one here. We could have gone a different direction, but I wanted to make sure that we were somewhere in the middle, so no matter where we were killing them, both of these spawners were active. So I'm going to come back in here, and we'll go game mode, creative. Now, on this platform here, if you remember just a few minutes ago, I mentioned this is where we're going to put our hopper system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that out, put a hopper right in here. You always shift click. There it is. Now the hopper is going into this here. And then, of course, our collection system, which can be right here if you like. Or you can go make it go a little further if you want, like over into here, which is probably what I'm going to do. So I'll probably set up a couple of chests in here. Might even go down, because sometimes when you start killing these guys, you start getting a lot of loot. So what I'll do is I'll put some more hoppers in here. I'll start. I need to be right where you're at, buddy.
Oh, sorry.
Whoops. Put a chest here, and what we'll do is we'll try and get over it.
I'm trying
Whoops.
to...
I got to get in here and get this hopper in that one first. There we go.
Can I try doing this one?
Yeah. You got it.
Oh.
Almost.
I think this way.
There you got it. Perfect. Now we can replace those blocks again, just like that. Whoops. And of course, we want to do what I mentioned earlier, and let's get ourselves a trapdoor.
Yep.
Got it. Set our trapdoor on here. Like I said earlier, you don't have to do this for skeletons, but it's a good habit, because when you do one for a zombie one or a husk or a zombie pigman, that if you have that there, the babies cannot get out. So now we have our collection system set up. Hoppers going into hoppers into the chest. And if you want, you can add more like we are going to do right here. So what I want to try and do now is probably set up another chest here. Whoops. There we go. And I'm going to take another hopper and put that one right into that chest. Now what will happen is when you kill things, they'll flow through this hopper, into this hopper, into that hopper, into the chest, and then they'll flow into that hopper, into that chest. So whenever they fill up, that's where you're at. We can probably put this back. 2's probably enough. And then you can start pulling stuff out. What's up, buddy?
And if the chest, the reason you can put one right here is because if this chest fills up and it goes through this hopper to this chest instead.
You're exactly right. Exactly right. Now something I like to do is I like to see the action. So what I'm probably going to do is remove some of these so I can see what's going on. That way I know who I got there. Now here's something you may want to do when when you're mending your tools, if you're using this for not only XP but also to mend your tools. And I'll show you. Once you get yourself some obsidian, you're probably going to want to take a few of these blocks out and replace them with obsidian, because when it comes to your pickaxe and you start trying to repair, that it's possible that you get a little overzealous and you end up hitting one of the blocks, and then next thing you know, they're getting out. So by putting obsidian there and you repair your pickaxe, of course, take all your other mending gear off, then you won't have to worry about them getting out or you accidentally breaking a block. But this is pretty much it. The next step we're going to be doing is you can find where the water troughs were going and they meet up top. And if you want, you can set yourself up some glass viewing areas for your friends, like I have on mine, which I'll probably show. I'll show a little clip of that. And well, that's neat.
I'm doing that because if like it shows the hopper, but if you accidentally break the hopper,
let's drop one in there. Oh, it didn't go.
If you accidentally break the hopper, I'm just doing that.
Yeah, if you get right up against them, it's a possibility that they hit you. Let's drop something in there and see. Let's see where it goes, Noah. Ah, there it is down there. Perfect. So we know our system's working just fine. The next step you're going to want to do, you can put blocks in front if you want to hit them, if you don't want to get too close. Next step is to dig yourself out. And if you remember, if you go back into Spectator Mode, you got to be careful where you're at. You're not going to see this in survival, but you need to write down your coordinates. Get comfortable with coordinates. If you need to learn those, find yourself a tutorial. I'll probably make one eventually. But you want to make sure that you don't dig into your water streams like I mentioned earlier. If you do that, you might lose that water source block and then it won't work and the bubbles won't flow like you see here. So dig yourself into your out of your kill area once you're done. Let's go back in. Oops. Back into creative. And probably right here is where we would start digging. And we'll dig ourselves out of there. So the next step is going to be to actually get it up and running, and I'll show you a couple other tricks and tips and tricks that I use for mine when it comes to like redstone devices. I'll be right back. Okay, something quick I wanted to show you. Something that I set up on several of my spawners is a redstone lamp system setup. You don't have to do this, but if you did want to do it, if you've seen mine and you would like to do something like that, it's a simple matter of getting yourself a lever, a bunch of redstone, And in this case, I would suggest if you're going to go all the way around to probably have 3 repeaters. 2 will probably work, but at least it'll keep the redstone signal working. And if you have that redstone going behind these lamps, then you'll be all set. And you can recover these back up when you're done. Oh, sorry, buddy. Just 1 high. You don't want it any higher than that. You might get spawns back in there. You start hearing sounds and you're wondering where they're coming from. So, and then you come over here, and of course, well, I would need to extend it 1 more, but that would be it. And you could, in essence, set up yourself a. Come on out of there, Noah. I'm going to show them something, because we're going to go ahead and turn the lights out and watch some spawns happen. So let's go across here with this
glass. Yeah,
let's put some glass right there. Actually, I'm going to have to. There we go. Now, if you wanted to, you could do a half slab on this to keep it darker. Just remember that if the light level is too high, the spawner won't work. But it should work. And we'll find out in just a moment by us getting some... You want to get rid of some of the lights?
Yep.
Careful, don't break the spawner.
I'm trying. It's hard not breaking a block with a torch. Want me to break these two?
I better turn this light on or they might come after you.
Can I break these 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the lamps. There's one back over here. Ah, I see it. They're already starting. Come on now, buddy. Uh-oh. Let's turn the lights. Now, you see the lights are on. Now, I actually have it set up. Noah and I have it set up to where we don't see in the dark. And I think what I'm going to try and do is have Noah get rid of that for a moment.
Okay.
Let me change this out.
Want me to get rid of mine or yours?
Let's get rid of mine.
Okay, I'll do yours.
There we go. Very good, buddy. Now you notice I turn the lights on, it should stop. They should stop spawning. I'm missing 1 light over here, so they probably still will. But at least in this case, you can see that spawner now with the lights out. You don't have, like I said, that's just purely cosmetic. If you want to be able to get in and do some work or see what's going on or show somebody, you can do that. It's pretty nifty. But now they should start spawning. Okay, an important thing that you definitely don't want to forget is after I set up these lights, you need to put a slab on top of that spawner. If you don't put a slab on top of that spawner, you'll probably get spawns up there, and that's where they will stay. So, as you can see, turn the light on, I put a slab there. We'll go take a look at the other one real quick. And you'll see I also put a slab on that one as well. And they are now flowing out of there. And our kill area, that's exactly where it needs to be. So both of these spawners are active. Spawning, and they should probably start coming down here where we don't have any light. There we are, and there they are. They'll start popping down, and at this point, if you remember Spectator Mode, you'll see that both of those spawners will be active, both flowing into the same place, and all of your drops should end up right in that chest. Let's whack a couple of them and see. One hit kills, very nice. Nothing there. There they are. Oh, you got a nice block in there. Anyway, guys, the only next step you really have to do is pretty much pretty it up the way you want. You've seen probably other spawners in other videos before. I like to have a lot of glass around so I can see what's going on. But in any case, if I have missed anything, please let me know down in the comments, or you didn't quite understand something, I'd be happy to explain. Noah and I just, we love playing together. We love doing these things. But every now and then, we're so used to doing these things that we forget the simple stuff that we overlook. So if you missed anything, let us know. And as usual, if you like the video, feel free to leave a like. If you want to subscribe for future videos, Noah and I usually make these videos every Wednesday. It's U.S. Pacific time. We get them done usually by Wednesday night, and they're out, edited, and available by early Thursday morning. So, until next time, guys, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Right, Noah?
Yep.
Say bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, we'll see you later.